Yeah. Hello friends, my name is Aakarsh Singh and I am a MS student in data science. So I got this opportunity to talk about human health and environment. And I was just searching about the articles that I can found online, and one of the most fascinating one I found was the use of big data to improve human health, not yet, how the experience from other industries will shape the future. This article is from National Institute for Biotechnology Center, and this article has a lot of different things in it. It's just not because we are just focusing on data science, it's how it takes the approach from here. So before moving to the next slide, I want to talk about we need to understand how we can improve human health with the help of big data, or I should say data science. But we will understand this with the help of differences. You will understand shortly what I mean. Data science culture in health domains versus other domains. That's how we are going to understand how we can improve health science. By looking at the difference that how health science is using data science when compared to other domains like industries, manufacturing, IT, how health science is used differently over there than compared to the health domain. These are the four main differences you have: focus, efforts, driven, and methods. These are the four main things I'm going to talk about in this slide, and we will slowly try to understand that how we are going to answer the question that how we can improve data, how we can improve health science, how we can improve health domain with the help of data science. So let's start with the focus. Focus, project versus product. We are going to see in the health, in red line you can see health domain, and in the green one you can see other domains. So in the project domain, in the health domain, you can see the project is the focus. While in the case of other domains, you have product as the focus. So what I mean by saying that is, in terms of health domain, you have emphasis on clinical research studies. While the person is focusing on data science techniques and he's trying to find the answer of different things, he's going to make his focus on the clinical research studies. In data science, they actually integrate the process into other big things. For example, they have a particular project going on from Wipro, from Microsoft. They need some sort of data science in them. So data science people are going to put their efforts to find a question of a particular answer. While in the case of health domain, they are going to focus on clinical research studies or maybe some sort of other medical answers they have to find. Specific questions addressed within a fixed amount of time period. You don't have infinite time. It's about health of humans. So you need to have some time period on them. We will discuss about that how there are some sort of points which are considered while we use data science in terms of health domain. But these are the things we need to understand. Also, in the terms of product focus, you can see the second point. Applied incrementally to adapt to evolving product needs. You need to understand that these things are very rapidly happening in other industries. You have some sort of project coming into the picture and it goes away like within few months or sometimes within few days as well. So you need to have adaptive process as well. Now, we have seen how focus is different in health domain and in other domains. Let's go for the next difference. How efforts are different in health domain and in other domains like industries or whatever we are talking about. So independent data science efforts are in health domain, and integrated data science efforts are in other domains. Will we understand? Analysis are conducted independently from front-end users. What I mean by that is, for example, when doctors or maybe data science professionals are working in health domain, they are independent from the doctors who are going to have that particular solution of their particular data science efforts. It's often done just to maintain the integrity, just to maintain the pureness of the results they are going to have at the end of the day. Because sometimes it's like maybe the doctors can influence the particular result that they can get from the data science techniques that they are performing. So that's what it means. It's often mandated for objectivity. That's what I was talking about. Data science specialists provide results to practitioners. When they get results from their research, they often transfer the results to the doctors. There is an emphasis on peer-reviewed publications, and concentration of data science work is in a small group of specialists. However, how it's different in other domains? Data science roles include instrumentation and data engineering, machine learning, engineering, and ML operation. Modeling is just one part of data science related work. A broader scope of data science within product development and delivery. There's a broader scope, by which I mean is they are having different teams which are working within data science specialists. So they're just not like a single person is handling the whole data science team. You have different teams within the data science teams working on different topics altogether. Now, what are the drivers? Well, in health domain they say casualty driven, and other domains they say prediction driven. Casualty driven, as you can see in the picture right there, you have cause and you have effects, and then they are applying data science techniques. So they have a particular cause behind everything. So they are trying to find the solution for that particular cause. Emphasis on a cause and its effect. Example of questions addressed are like treatment effectiveness, medication side effects, and environmental factors leading to diseases. What I mean is, for example, I am a doctor, I have a particular disease XYZ, just example, take COVID-19. I need to understand how it's affecting people, what kind of symptoms I'm getting in people. Are people dying because of this? How it's affecting their lungs. So I have this question set with me, and I'm going to put my efforts in, able to understand what I can find with the help of data science. I'm going to take from data from all over the world, I'm going to process it, and then I'm going to provide my final solutions. In prediction driven, in other domains, like in other industries, the focus is more broader. Like they just want to have accurate predictions. They don't have a particular, for example, I want to ask like, what are the effects of this particular car engine in the final, for example, total number of accidents happening in the place, in the world. So that's how their prediction driven thing focuses, like they move forward with that. The approach gives you more flexibility. If a method or technique helps you to make accurate prediction, you can use it, even if you don't fully understand why it works. But that's not the case with health domain, because we are dealing with the health of the people. We need to understand that if it's going to work, is it totally acceptable, is it truthful, then we are going to put that technique into our system. Even though it's giving us the desirable outcomes, that's not the thing. We need to consider that either we are going to be able to take this or not, because it's actually at the end of the day talking about the lives of the people. Now, modeling approaches. Well, we know statistics is like the heart of data science. So they say that in health domain and in other domains. In health domain, you have statistical data-centric models. And in other domains, you have machine learning-centric models. What I mean by that, there is a preference for set of familiar linear algorithm-based models. So when we are talking, as I told you earlier, that in health domain, we are going to take those particular algorithms which we already have a good familiarity about. We are just not going to experiment with other particular techniques and we end up having a solution, but that particular technique is, maybe it's very new. It's not that much, taken care of. It's not that much experience. There are very less experiments on it. But when you're talking about the health of humanity, then you have to take those approaches which are trustable, which are actually used by people before. That's what it means here. Exclusion of black box prediction techniques that make predictions without explaining how they did it. The black box prediction here says that you don't use those techniques which are not actually trustable, which just give you result without explaining how that result has came from, like what's the background and is it trustable or not. We have to see these two things when we are talking about health domain. But when it comes to other domains, a preference to non-linear models, particularly ANNs, which means artificial neural networks. We go into complex algorithms, but because this company wants more algorithms, more processes to come out. For example, Microsoft will be working on some particular XYZ project. They just need to have something new to come out. They just cannot rely on old methods to wait that, okay, in the market, this particular method is going to run one day. They have this particular thing that they have to be more intelligent, they have to be different from others. So they are acceptable. Yeah, we can just take this particular new algorithm because it's maybe going to provide us a new audience. Now, I was just talking about like how these two domains are different, like how health domain is using data science in a very different way, how other domains are using data science in a very different way. But where is the solution? How we can improve how we can improve health science with the help of data science? Because we were supposed to find how we can use big data to improve human health. That was our goal. But the answer lies in convergence. As you can see, there is a crown on the word convergence because that's the answer. So convergence means, since you know the difference between how other domains are using data science and you know the difference of health science is using the domain of data science. So you just have to converge those particular two differences and you have the answer. First of all, we need to understand that healthcare data science has its own culture and practices for ensuring safe and effective medical treatments. They have those practices. We are talking about ethics in whole of these days in this class. That's how ethics come into the picture. You have ethics in terms of health science as well. You can just not pick any particular algorithm and you can go for it like, okay, we can use this particular algorithm to find the answer. You need to be that algorithm needs to be very reliable. Even though it's giving you desirable outcomes, that's not the case. You need to have that particular algorithm reliable. Next thing is, there is need of caution when introducing new techniques and technologies. That's a very important sentence actually. You need to understand that you need to be very cautious when you are introducing new things into the picture of healthcare, into the picture of the health of different humans. That's very important for you. Healthcare data science is evolving and converging with practices from other domains driven by exponential growth of health-related data and new data applications. That's what we were talking about. Now, it's already happening. As I underlined those examples, these are the examples when other domain practices are seen by health domain people and they are actually using it. For example, your hand watch, your Apple Watch, it's using your data, it's using your health data every day. They're using artificial neural networks in it, they're using very complex algorithms in it, but they are doing it slowly so that they can make them more reliable. They are waiting for others to do it so that they have the reliability. Yeah, that's now it's been already applied, now we can use it. So that's why you can see in these examples that automated assistants, for example, there are blood pressure machines these days which are imported from different countries. They give you those, they behave like assistants to you. They give you your blood reading, they tell you, okay, I think your blood reading is very high, but this time you should go to the doctor. There are those machines. That comes in automated assistants. Then you have smart exercise equipment and applications. Go to gym, you have the answer. You will find different machines over there. They are using these complex algorithms. So it's not like health domain is behind something. They are catching up, but it's very important that they need to care about ethics here and they need to follow some processes and some sort of techniques before taking anything or any algorithm into the picture. Importance of learning from the experiences and advancements of other industries to use new technologies safely and achieve optimal health outcomes is the goal. So as we were talking about how we can improve health domain with the help of data science or big data, here's the answer, that we are learning from other domains as well. Because for example, if you're going to find whether a particular, maybe a toy, how it's running, what's the speed of that particular toy if we are going to use this particular algorithm for the engine. So they are experiencing, they are just gathering the data, and then we can talk about humans because we need some sort of evidence for that. Then only we can take that into the picture. I just cannot introduce a XYZ algorithm tomorrow and we'll say, okay, let's have the practical application of it on a particular human. That's never going to happen. These are the references, and thank you, and any questions I would love to answer.
I'm going to turn the lights back on while we ask questions. Okay. Go ahead, questions. You can field your own questions.
I do have a question, like, how will the causality necessity of the healthcare perspective benefit from the other side? Because, like, I mean, at least in my knowledge, like, causality is not very well understood.
Which one are you causality?
Causality. Like, causal inference.
Okay.
Is not very well understood in general in algorithms, so I don't know how they approach for that in healthcare.
When I was reading this algorithm, because it's by a government organization, so I was like, okay, they have something in there. So I was trying to answer this question, that how is it really happening that they are taking these inputs from other domains as well. So as you're talking about the interference, right? So it happens is like they are learning from it day by day. Okay, it's not happening in a single day. So they learn slowly from it, and then they are going to apply it. For example, just take the example of Apple Watch. We have those algorithms way before designing 2000, or some of them were in 2005. But it took time for the humans to use it on their wrist. So that's what it means. Any other question?
So I just want to intervene here because there is just so happens that the supplementary reading for you. There is a complicated set of issues that sort of finding causality in data that are really just correlational or just seen typically as correlational. So the founder of or one of the great scientists of Bayesian neural networks, Judea Pearl, after he developed these networks several decades later, said, they don't really show much about causality now, do they? And so he has I haven't read the whole book, but there's a paper, a very long paper in the supplementary readings. I cannot remember the exact title, but if you look up there, the author's name is Pearl, and he gives a rather formal analysis of how you might do this. But it's a really interesting, super interesting problem because in data science, typically all we end up with are correlations and where we really want causation. You can tease out of the data some correlations, but it's not easy to do. So it's an open problem, let's put it that way.
Any other question?
I was thinking about your example of the Apple Watch, since I now own one, just recently.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is going to create another data gap, right? So they're not super expensive, but they're not accessible to everybody, right? And in order for them to work well, you've got to have an iPhone, etc. So we will get a lot more data from wearable devices, but again, it will tend to skew towards people who are, middle class or richer, and again, at least for the short term, it will leave people who are on the lower end of income scales out.
That's right, like it's decreasing your data set because there are few people who just cannot afford it. So they are just going to use a $10 smartwatch which is available on different websites, but that's not going to give you accurate data. You just do your hand like this and it will give you 10,000 steps. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right.
Smartwatches be an example of federation where it learns from the user, so that would be better than taking a huge data.
Right, yeah, so certain kind of efficiency and also less of a risk of privacy violations and stuff like that. Yeah, it's interesting interplay between the sort of fairness question about who can get them, the privacy question, whose data we want to discover, etc. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we get 2 rounds of applause.